Our nature is extremely fragile and vulnerable, and human activity has been causing an increasingly irreparable harm to it. We have exceeded the consumption limits in many areas, and the situation started deteriorating. The Central Asian region is rather vulnerable, as we live in arid climate conditions. Acting alone, no country can address all the issues, for example, pertaining to transboundary water use, air pollution or climate change. All 5 concerned countries should be joining their efforts and combining their capacities in responding to these problems. On the verge of the 21st century until today, the communities in all Central Asian states have been facing similar environmental challenges. A new regional organization was needed to tackle them. In 1998, the ministers of environment of Central Asian countries had a meeting and decided to establish the Regional Environmental Center. The decision was officially announced at the Pan-European Conference in Aarhus, Denmark, and was well received.
The founders of our center include the governments of 5 Central Asian countries, the European Commission and the UN Development Program.
Our great fellow countryman and writer, Cengiz Aytmatov, stood at the origins of creating CAREC. He was the first president of CAREC Public Advisory Council. He invested a lot of work in setting up and launching the center.
The issue was considered at Lake Issyk-Kul. The minutes stated the meeting's official title, Meeting of Authorized Representatives of Central Asian Countries on Establishing CAREC. It was signed by the Ministers of Ecology.
In 1999, at the Issyk-Kul meeting, all countries endorsed the decision to locate the center in Almaty. On behalf of the President, Kazakhstan promised to provide the center with a building and favorable tax regime to allow the center to focus its financial resources solely on environmental efforts. This building is Kazakhstan's contribution to the agreement between the UNDP, the European Commission, and the Republic of Kazakhstan on CAREC operations. Kazakhstan transferred the building and adjacent premises to the center's property to ensure its proper work.
CAREC founders considered us as a regional player capable of becoming a mediator among and a facilitator for the donor community, Central Asian governments and the region's environmental community.
There was a very strong and unique support on behalf of Central Asian states. All ministers involved in CAREC efforts at the level of the Board of Governors, as well as at the level of founder states, demonstrated full and unconditional confidence in CAREC and their political support. The most significant share of financing back then came from the EU, that assumed full responsibility for funding the first years of CAREC's operations.
At the
stage of CAREC creation, the main tasks included formulating all the documents regulating the center's status, mandate, procedures, structure, including these of the country offices.
That allowed creating an integrated organization with a head office in Almaty, necessary title documents to elaborate CAREC's policies, establish partnerships, build staff capacities, as well as promote regional-level cooperation.
During the phase of institutional funding by the European Union, CAREC worked in 3 main focus areas. The first one was environmental policy. The corresponding effort centered around the overall vision and tasks, i.e., in which direction the environmental sector of Central Asia should evolve. There was also a large-scale awareness-raising campaign to disseminate information across the region, including engaging the media. The grant program was pretty big as well. Its task was to support NGOs and, via them, strengthen the role of civil society in environmental protection. CAREC's main tasks were coordinating and pooling together the efforts of all Central Asian countries, public agencies, non-governmental organizations, and civil society in addressing the shared environmental challenges.
Those 8 years were important in terms of CAREC evolving into a fully fledged actor in the region that could be entrusted financial resources and possess the necessary expertise. Those were the key achievements of the center's initial development phase.
An institutional grant is awarded for a given time period to allow an organization to get strong, build up its expert potential, as well as the capacity to independently design and execute projects at various levels. When the European Union's grant funding ended, CAREC faced the first serious endurance test. The financing structure of country offices changed, as they themselves started implementing country-level projects. They also joined regional-level projects and slowly shifted to self-financing. Many donors emerged: UNDP, the governments of Norway, UK and Germany, ESCAP, OSCE. The international partners expressed their desire to support the center because it was and still remains the only regional-level environmental organization in Central Asia. CAREC managed to outline two main work streams, specifically on water and environmental education. Then came the environmental management program, focusing on executing more or less technical targeted projects. For example, CAREC assisted in developing separate national strategies on biodiversity conservation and combating desertification.
Back then, every year we implemented a large number, 40 to 50 or even more, of projects within the framework of thematic programs. We also launched the Water Initiative Support Program to support various water-related efforts, as water became the core regional theme for all partners and donors. The diversity of projects carried out in the course of that time from 2009 to 2012 also helped us, CAREC staff, to develop professionally, advance our competences and expertise in various thematic areas to grow simultaneously with the center and our partner organizations.
In 2015, the center embarked on implementing global multi-year programs.
The USAID-supported Smart Waters project focused specifically on the rational water use and development of various organizations engaged in water protection and conservation. The project had a hard component, that is supplying target agencies with the necessary measuring and monitoring equipment. The project efforts made it possible to conduct high-quality research, monitoring, focusing, as well as analyze river runoff and further plan rational water use for economic purposes. The Smart Waters project pays special attention to water management capacity building, including training of young water specialists and students, for example via the Integrated Water Resource Management Master's Program at the Kazakh-German University in Almaty, Kazakhstan. One of the most important things that the Smart Waters project yielded was establishing cooperation with Afghanistan. The project office was created at Afghanistan Ministry of Energy and Water.
Over the project duration, with the support of USAID, 14 basin councils were established in several transboundary basins. Those were all small rivers: the Aspara between Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, the Isfara between Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, for instance. Their water is a sensitive issue. For example, in the Isfara River basin, water feeds the population of over 300,000 people. They fully depend on water. Basin councils allow shifting water away from a purely technical plane of water allocation and distribution and transforming into a matter of cooperation.
The Camp 4 ASB project aims to address the climate change challenges shared by all Central Asian countries. The project has two main objectives: to improve regional access to climate knowledge and to attract foreign investments into the climate sector and build the expert capacity in the region.
The Camp 4 ASB project works with different target groups, including decision makers, farmers, researchers, scientists, and media representatives. At the level of hydrometeorological agencies, we have been assisting with exchanging the experiences of using various cutting-edge forecasting models focusing on floods and snow cover. Among other things, the project helps farmers in deploying novel climate adaptation technologies. The project's national components include loan facilities allowing legal and physical entities to invest in activities aimed at climate change adaptation, for example, a farmer to invest in technologies which protect his or her crops from floods, or in greenhouse technologies reducing water consumption. Such a farmer would be less susceptible or vulnerable to climatic phenomena.
Nexus translates from English as linkage or interconnection. Our project assumes and promotes the fact that water, energy, and food are interrelated. Thus, the decisions or actions in one of the three sectors, water, energy, or food, that is agriculture, inevitably affect the other two.
The majority of such projects have to do with large-scale hydro infrastructure. There is a lot of it in the region, mostly built during the Soviet time. The installations are in different technical condition. So the project helps elaborating joint investment initiatives based on co-financing to enhance such infrastructure and make it more efficient in all three dimensions: energy, water, and food. Each CAREX mega project covers several countries of the region, thousands of stakeholders and dozens of target groups. While executing its mega projects, CAREC has gained tremendous valuable experience and trust from regional and international partners. CAREC has achieved the level of directly collaborating with international organizations in responding to environmental issues and challenges. In the course of its operation, CAREC has launched several information, education, and dialogue platforms. The largest among them are the Central Asian International Environmental Forum and the Central Asia Climate Change Conference. The Central Asian International Environmental Forum aims to strengthen the dialogue among government agencies, experts, and NGOs in Central Asia and the international community on environmental issues, as well as to forge community-based solutions to ensure the region's sustainable development. Climate change issues are also in the spotlight of the annual CACCC conferences. This platform is instrumental in allowing the countries of the region to explore the best practices implemented in other countries. We can analyze to what extent an experience gained in one country is applicable in another. It is such venues that give birth to new ideas and approaches, allowing us to move forward and turn concepts into reality. The platform of the representatives of ministries of foreign affairs and parliamentarians of Central Asian countries was launched to review relevant water cooperation and climate change issues in the region.
The platform pays special attention to developing and enhancing national environmental legislation, in particular the development of the environmental code in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. In this regard, CAREC renders practical assistance to target countries.
The recently launched Central Asia Climate Information Platform is yet another CAREC's flagship product. CACIP is a single climate information portal for the whole Central Asian region. It provides access to comprehensive and relevant climate change information on a regional and national scale, as well as offers various interactive tools for visualizing and interpreting data. CACIP's interactive services assist researchers, climate and environmental experts, and teachers in creating maps, using analytical tools, as well as allow those interested to undergo e-training. Let's take river discharge, for instance. You are aware that the sources of many transboundary rivers are located in the mountains, and they pass through riparian countries. There is a permanent shortage of information on snow accumulation and precipitation, so it's hard to predict river water content. CASIP makes this data available to all the countries concerned, so all of them can get reliable information. The Central Asian Leadership Program is another CAREC's regional-level initiative.
The Leadership Program is a regional program to support the Central Asian youth and build up its capacities. Every year, we invite 30 to 40 young leaders, 5 or 6 from each country of Central Asia and Afghanistan, to CAREC head office to participate in CALP. How participants gain current knowledge on ecology, environmental monitoring, measures to ensure rational water use and conservation. It appears to me that our young leaders are already thinking along slightly different lines, more sustainably and more far-sighted. We hope that CALP alumni will facilitate the good changes in the most recent future. In fact, we already see these changes. The main goal of the leadership program is exactly to bring up the next generation of Central Asian leaders, environmentalists, who will contribute to more sustainable decisions in the future.
After 20 years of operation, CAREC has become a credible regional platform for implementing environmental projects. Today, the center has offices in all Central Asian countries and is given credence to by both national governments and international partners.
It was a commendable joint effort of CAREC, its people, mobilized experts together with the national government, the regional institutions, the donor community, and last but not least, the civil society organization. Personally, I could witness the effort of CAREC in the last 2 years in the field of water quality, of transboundary water management, as the Secretariat of Blue Peace Central Asia Initiative. Its effort in establishing links with the youth community, with diplomat and parliamentarian circles and technical experts are very impressive. Since 3 decades, major environmental challenges continuously represent a huge threat to the basis of the sustainable socio-economic development of Central Asia and its stability. We invite the governments of the region to support CAREC as a key regional institution that helps to conserve natural resources and to adapt to the impact of climate change.
When the goals set are achieved and bear fruit, the presidents of Central Asian countries get convinced that ecology and environmental protection have no boundaries. We must be addressing these issues together.
For me personally and for the whole CAREC team, this 20th anniversary means much more than just an anniversary. It means 20 years of regional cooperation, 20 years of partnering with major international organizations, 20 years of innovation and expertise brought to the region and to our countries. It means 20 years of experience in water, climate, environmental collaborations and promoting global and regional initiatives and projects in the Central Asian region. If you implement projects effectively, your project partners or donors supporting them financially see the outcomes and start trusting to you. If the results are poor, the trust level falls. In this regard, CAREC justifies the confidence reposed in it by all means. CAREC continues helping countries joining their forces on environmental issues. The experience and competencies accumulated in the history of partnership and successful projects make the organization one of a kind in the region. CAREC's strategy for 2020-2025 focuses on our goal to become an information and methodological hub and an analytical center of environmental knowledge in the Central Asian region. While projects will continue playing a key role as the center's overall capacities, we will update our institutional and operational mechanisms to ensure CAREC properly responds to the regional dynamics and fully complies with its mandate To achieve this, the Center will continue strengthening its collaboration with the international community, as well as will render significant attention to diversifying its financial resources.